Welcome to this week's pitching preview. I'm Jason Gilbo. Heading into the final month of the season, kind of crazy how fast it's gone. Looking at two start guys, some streamers this week. Touching on a quick bullpen note with the Red Sox, who have just been jumbling around guys with Tazawa and Machi there, so straighten things out. And also taking a look at some possible returns in mid-September to help with those playoff races. Two starts this week. We're looking at a lot of guys. Your top aces, so not a ton of streamers. Guys like Madison Bumgarner are going, Chris Sale, Chris Archer, you name him, he's probably starting this week. Felix Hernandez was scheduled to start, but is going to have his start skipped in Houston. He's going to pitch against the A's later this week, so it's probably good news for Felix Hernandez owners with the way things have been going. And, he's dominated the A's all season long, so Houston roughed him up before, and with the way he's been pitching, could have roughed him up again. So kind of some good news there. They're kind of some more guys to avoid this pick this week rather than picking up, and not a ton of safe calls for guys making two starts. I'm avoiding Coors Field. There's kind of two notable names, Madison Bumgarner. I'm going to start him there, but Patrick Corbin, I can't really trust him being a lefty there. So. That's kind of the issue for me in Coors. I mean, the other names making appearances there are, guys you don't usually have anyway. So, touch on Chris Sale real quick. Monster week, and you could actually see a poor to average week from him just because of the matchups. He's playing the Twins and the Royals, both hammer left-handed pitching. And they've actually hit Sale quite well this season at times. The strikeout upside is there with the Twins, and the Royals not so much. But obviously you're going to start him up for that upside there. So just don't be surprised if you see an okay week out of him, or even a pretty bad week it could go if it hits a low point. If you're looking to pick up some options, there's some risky guys. Eduardo Rodriguez skipped his start, should be rested to go for a two-start week against the Yankees and the Phillies. Both ranked just outside the top 10 in offense against Southpaws. Rodriguez has handled the Yankees pretty well, and their bats are kind of struggling. Ellsbury, Gardner not really clicking, although Ellsbury homered today. It's really been kind of guys like Steven Drew, Didi Gregorius, Teixeira still out. Rodriguez has been kind of missing in action. Beltran's been decent, but overall, they haven't really been great of late, outside of the big outing just a couple of days ago. So he's pitched pretty well. And he's pitched pretty well this season. I think, he's had pretty major blowups, which inflate the ERA. But, you see him a lot of times floating around 3 earned runs over 6, 4 or 5 strikeouts. But, there is some risk. And I think, a couple other guys too. It's Felix Doubront has some nice matchups pitching against the Angels and the Mariners. But also, most of the time, he hasn't been great. At times, he does flash being a decent pitcher. Or he could be trounced early. So, risk like that, that's kind of what we're dealing with this week. So, I'd rather go day by day, take a look at some streamers, which is where we're going to head to next. Monday we're looking at Hector Santiago if he's still out there in your league. He's going to get the A's in a nice spacious ballpark. You're also looking at Bartolo Colon, who's taking on the Phillies, who are now trending back down to where they were. So you could be in for two cheap quality starts there, especially with Cologne. Tuesday, you got Eduardo Rodriguez making that Yankee start. And also there's a game that features both Matt Schumacher and Chris Bassett. I like both sides of that game. You can go either way there. Both offenses have been struggling. Haven't been that great against right-handed pitching, so I like both of them there. Both kind of fly ball pitchers at times, so obviously playing in the Coliseum really helps out. Looking at Wednesday, Kevin Gausman. He's gotten the strikeout pitches working lately. Throwing some quality starts of late. Faces the Rays, who I'm going to pick on a lot this week, who are in the bottom 10 of offense against right-handed pitching. Also, cheaper, riskier option, Aaron Nola, has been pitching pretty well. He's going to face the Mets, who have slowed down against some Red Sox pitching that's actually been pretty well with Wade Miley, Joe Kelly. Those guys have been pitching pretty well. So even Rick Porcello came back and had a strong start, but too little too late from those guys for the team. Thursday, Matt Latos, really your only option on such a short slate, and playing the Padres at home or in Petco, so you gotta like that there. And I've been picking on the Padres quite a bit this season. Friday, Joe Kelly kept the train rolling with a nice 2-star week. Pitched very well in Chicago and pitched against the Mets very well, going deep into the game. Picked up the win both times, so I like him to keep it going. He's going to play the Phillies at home, and if Luis Severino is still out there, go pick him up for the rest of the season. A young prospect who was kind of highly touted to begin with, kind of in between a reliever and a starter. In the earlier part of his career, but up with the Yankees now and pitching very well. And Chris Medlin, another guy we'll talk about in a little bit. He's pitching Friday as well. So definitely those that's a solid day of streaming pitching. Saturday, taking a look at Nathan Eovaldi versus Tampa. Eovaldi's been really buckling down on left-handed bats, which that was his only real struggle with. Rays don't have too many, and he's gotten the strikeout pitching working very well lately. For Saturday, not a lot of options. Danny Duffy against the White Sox. Chicago ranks in the bottom 5 against lefties. Duffy's been okay. Still scares me at times. Not a reliable guy, but the White Sox have been consistently bad against left-handed pitching. Sunday, really one guy who's kind of a guy to actually go out and grab. Lance McCullers. If he was thrown out back in the player pool after his minor league trip, go grab him for this start as well as for the rest of the year. And a couple waiver wire ads. Reds right-hander Raisa Iglesias. 32 innings in August here, 1.93 ERA, 26% strikeout rate, generating 11.2% swinging strike rates, and the FIP xFIP keep on dropping, coming off 13 strikeouts against the Diamondbacks the other week. He's turned some fantasy heads and people are scooping him up, so definitely got to go grab if you need some strikeouts here for the rest of the season. And Chris Medlin dealt with some major injuries over the last few seasons. He has a career 2.98 ERA, 7.6 K through 9. When healthy, he's been a quality fantasy starter, and I think he's going to be a big time player down the stretch for the Royals, as well as providing quality starts for your fantasy teams for the rest of the season there. So definitely two guys I'm really keeping my eye on. If you need strikeouts, Iglesias is your guy. If you're looking for a little more stability, Medlin's pretty safe for the rest of the year. Touching on the bullpen real quick, it's just one mess we're looking at the Red Sox. Tazawa was originally slided in for Uehara there, but had some rocky starts or rocky save opportunities, and now he's heading back to the bullpen to the setup role. Gene Machi, the guy who they originally thought was going to close after Tazawa, at least for 2 games, and then that didn't happen. Now he's back for the rest of the season, slotted in the closer role. So if you need some cheap saves, Machi's, I guess, is the guy to go with there. But anything could change, but that looks to be pretty stable as of now. Wrapping up with the injury reports, Carlos Carrasco hit the DL, some soreness, back on pace to start later this week, so good news there. Jose Fernandez and AJ Burnett, we got some good news. Fernandez, I guess, wowed the Marlins skipper there with the bullpen session. Reports say he could be back within mid-September, and that's the same thing with Burnett. Both on with some solid bullpen sessions, no real setbacks, and both are on par to return in mid-September. So 2 arms to really keep an eye on if they're floating out there. If you had them on the DL and you're waiting for them, they should be back within the next 2 weeks or so. So good news there, and that's going to take us out for this week.